This podcast contains explicit language and content meant for mature audiences. The thoughts and opinions expressed are our own and should not necessarily be taken seriously, most of the time.
Welcome to the Sexy Jammies Swingcast.
I'm Roxy.
And I'm Vincent. And we're Sexy Jammies.
Come with us on our continually evolving wizarding journey as we talk about everything from sex and swinging to toys, relationships,
And whatever else is tickling your nipples at the time.
Thank you for joining us. And if you like what you hear, be sure to support us on Patreon.
If there's anything that you want to hear us chat about,
Or just want to say hi.
don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can find links to all of our things at linktree/sexyjammies.
That's linktr.ee/sexy jammies. We'd love to get to know you better. Now hurry up and take your clothes off before the kids wake up.
Why is this always a thing with you?
As soon as you started saying it, I'm like, I fucking know what you're going to say. I don't know.
I'm talking to the microphone. Because I need to see your peaks and your valleys.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
My peaks are right here.
Yes, they are.
What was the other thing you needed to see?
And your valleys.
Well, those would be here.
You have an amazing clit.
I'm glad you think so. I am a little embarrassed by it.
Oh my God, it's so amazing. It's so amazing.
Everyone seems to like it. It's really big and it makes me uncomfortable. And
Why?
No, I mean, it makes me literally uncomfortable. Like, like it gets hinged in fabric and stuff. And I need it to be just a little smaller so it hides a little more instead of being like, here, rub really hard on me with your cotton underwear. This is why I have to wear underwear with like just about anything.
I
It's
have
not
a
skirt.
solution.
What is that?
No underwear.
Well, except then the jean shorts pinch it, or the jeans.
Well, don't wear jean shorts. Wear jean skirts.
If I'm wearing a skirt, it's fine.
Jean skirts.
If I'm wearing a skirt, it's fine.
Silence your phone so we don't keep getting disrupted. Because we've started many conversations. I'm talking to David also.
Oh, you are?
Yes. His little hot number.
What hot number?
She looks at me like she wants to eat me for dinner.
Oh, you're talking about his wife.
Yeah. Anyway, What are we doing? Are we starting?
Finally recording again is what we're doing.
Are we preparing to start?
We are preparing to start. I need to do something more than just silence it because I'm like all anxiety ridden staring at me. I have texted a lot of people.
Your.
I haven't gotten back to some people. No, well, okay, in all fairness, some of them haven't gotten back to me either. But it was like a mutual not getting back to. So I just went through the entirety of all my text messages and answered everybody I haven't spoken to in a while.
Roxy is very spun up today. And has been very spun up for about 3 days.
Ugh.
And
This weekend cannot happen quick enough. That is what I have.
And I mean, we've made the decision to start recording again because of a conversation we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff. We had a lot of successful encounters, and she decided to go back through her text messages to review all of the people that she ghost texted.
Well, it's not just that. It's like,
what is it called? Falling text?
I don't know.
There's a word
I don't fucking
that
know.
the kids use to describe when you're texting and you just don't answer the last text.
I don't know. It's kid friends and vanilla friends and other friends and sexy friends. It's like all of the people.
Because
all of the people that I have fallen out of contact with because we've been so fucking busy.
Well, that's just it.
That's why I just wanted to go through and hit everybody.
I mean, that's literally just it. Is we have literally sucked hard at
life.
Not life, but
no, anything other than work.
like a lot of things because of how complicated the life got.
Yeah.
And some things fell by the wayside. And unfortunately, you people were one of those. And please don't hold it against us because
we're going to try to do better.
We love and appreciate all of the support that you gave us 5 months ago, 6 months ago, whatever it was. And well, now we're back and we're going to try to do this better than we did it before.
Well,
obviously,
I don't know that that's necessarily the right word. We were doing a pretty good job.
Well,
but what we're going to try to do is get back to the roots of where we started.
There's this old saying about sculptors that I think it was sculptors that they get to the point in their little art where the thing is good enough and they walk away from it. There's still more whittling that we can do. There's still more improvement. And I think that's where my brain was at, like with like the audio quality.
Oh my God.
Because I'm really a stickler for making sure that you people can hear us well.
And he talks about my OCD tendencies.
I have a few things that I appreciate being perfect, and them being able to hear us really, really well and understand what we're talking about and not have to listen to like static and the air conditioner and all these other bullshits that's going on, I think is important, lady.
I understand what you're saying, but sometimes the audio quality, it was like an every 5-minute random interruption. And you were like, this audio quality shit. And I'm like, really? I only noticed the thing that you said because you told me it existed and I was looking for it.
Anyway.
So it is your one level of perfection.
That's minutia.
That you have. It's not minutia. It's one of the things that caused us to have to take a break.
Well, one of them.
That, and we needed like real money, not love money. As much as I love money, it fulfills my heart and my soul. It doesn't pay the mortgage. So
keep the electricity on or the water flowing.
No.
Groceries in the fridge, those important things.
So this was twofold, right? We needed to make money.
Let me kind of level with you people. We decided to do this.
Not for the money.
Not for the money.
That was the problem.
We literally made the decision to do this because of our love of the lifestyle, the way that we want to live, self-improvement maybe, right?
I don't know. It is kind of our therapy. Our relationship has been...
Yeah,
we were recording...
This is our couple's therapy.
When we were recording, our relationship was the best it had ever been.
Yes.
Including to date. Now it's gotten better because we have been talking more, but this was our talking.
Yes.
Like we talked
this was
to
the
each
time,
other in this.
This is the intimate vocalization time that we spend improving our relationship.
And it's funny. It was scheduled like couples talking time.
Yeah.
Right. And as soon as we stopped doing that, we just kind of stopped having those in-depth, deep conversations because we were too fucking busy with all the other shit, which was not okay. I mean, it's not okay. You need to be as a general, in a couple, you need to be having these conversations regularly anyhow. And we sort of slipped at that. And
yeah, so we're probably going to re-record the intro.
Oh, yeah.
So
I have ideas I need to.
You might not have heard the old intro when this started because I don't like a certain aspect of this.
You never have. There's something about it you've always not necessarily.
And while my darling wife, my beautiful, amazing.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm not pumping you up. I'm just telling truth. While she very much identifies in her heart and soul as Roxy.
Yeah, you've never been Vincent.
I don't identify as Vincent.
No, Roxy is me.
So
it is who I've always wanted to be and who I feel I am.
Some of you have had the pleasure of meeting us, and you know what I'm about to say. But I am not Vincent.
Well, no, that's not our real names. I mean, even though I wish it was my real name.
Well, you can still go by that.
I'm going to, because we have people we know who know my real name who still call me Roxy. They don't call me by my real name.
And I appreciate that and I enjoy it.
I do too. I really like it. Because I mean, it's at the heart, it's who I am.
But if we want to break this down, I've spent a really long time trying to figure out who I am and what I am and what my place is.
Are we doing that?
You can if you want.
I mean, I don't care.
I laid the groundwork.
I don't care. I'm still Roxy.
I laid the groundwork that you're Roxy.
I am.
Because we've had this conversation like 150 fucking times. And while you and when I look at you, sometimes I see Roxy. But I take that as a compliment. I have always been, and I always will be James.
You are.
And those of you that have been paying attention,
it's funny,
over the course of the last year and a half, have heard us slip a few times.
No, not us. This is the thing. That's what's funny. You've never slipped. You've never slipped.
It's always you.
It's always me, because I think truly I am Roxy. And you are not Vincent.
I'm not.
Like, that was just a name I came up with, and woefully inappropriately after what I thought I was naming you for. It was not. I still can't figure out the root of that name.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is that Roxy comes from Chicago.
It does. And I thought that Vincent did. It does not.
And at the time, she was very drunk.
Oh my God, I was.
And she thought...
Some of my best ideas happen when I'm drunk.
Yeah. At the time, she thought that the counterpart to Roxy was Vincent.
I thought that the Richard Gere, the lawyer, was Vincent. He is not.
That's kind of what
Billy.
I've never seen.
Billy doesn't work.
I've never seen the play.
Oh, I have.
Or the movie.
Seen the movie.
So my interpretation of it was Roxy's counterpart was Vincent.
Yeah, he was not.
And that's not true.
No, it's not at all. That name is not even in the movie. It's not in the show anywhere. He does not. That character does not exist.
Because just like Bonnie and Clyde, and well, that's the only example I have, really. Sorry, but just like them, we are James and Roxy.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, you can totally give my real name, but please don't call me that, because I really don't feel like it fits anymore.
You can make the decision to do what I just did if you choose to later. That's not about that.
No.
Because that's kind of how you identify. To borrow a word from the woke culture.
Yeah, which we don't.
Anyway. That's really
who I am.
That's really who you are.
It is, to my core.
Since you and I have been together, you have turned into her. And now they're indistinguishable.
I think I've always been her. She just was suppressed.
Repressed.
No, she was suppressed by the repression of all of my inklings, right?
Yeah.
Like, she is who I've always wanted to be. It's like when we went karaokeing that one time and he asked the name and I paused for a second and he looked at me like I was crazy. And I go, I'm just trying to decide what name to give you. And he looked at me even more like I was crazy because I didn't want to be me. I wanted to be Roxy. That's who I am. It's
So let's finish this.
Who I've always been.
Let's finish this disclosure a little bit. Just to get it off my chest. I have in the past been responsible for taking care of the well-being of affluent individuals.
What is it you say?
People with more money than sense.
It is very much true.
And like our mentors, and I don't know that they know that they are, but they are.
I think we've told them.
We might have told them.
Mentors and inspiration.
We very much, we have taken the example of Richard and Lauren from Room 77 and applied it to our existence. They talk in their intro. They're like, we got tired of the rat race. So did we.
And it's an entirely different rat race.
Not necessarily by choice. And I'm not saying that we're Hollywood stars.
Oh God, no.
None of that bullshit.
That rat race. But just the stuff that life throws at you that, I mean, everyone goes through it, right?
Yes.
Everybody deals with it.
Everybody that is self-aware enough has that self-discovery kind of situation.
Well,
right?
and
we,
after you were kind of
had
nudged out of that business.
Well, that's what I'm not
decided,
talking about. That's about what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
I have a very high level of honor and integrity, and I am oppositionally defiant. This feels like a confessional. It sort of is.
You are oppositionally defiant.
It's
contagious, though.
It sort of is.
No, it really.
I have a way about me.
You do.
And the way about me is not Vincent. The way about me is James.
It's very much James.
And I don't feel like you lie to these people when you say that you're Roxy. But I very much feel like I lie to these people when I say that I'm Vincent because I'm not.
That's fair.
My name is James.
It is.
And you can call me that however you like.
No,
and I'm not just talking to you, my love.
I call you daddy.
I know you do. So, I mean, But
only at the special time. No, that's not true. I actually use it every opportunity I get.
Yes, you do. Because you like the way that it makes my face look.
Well, and I like the way that okay. That's a whole different conversation.
It is.
We're not going to get into that right now.
We're trying to cover a lot of bases here. So settle down a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another time.
So I was inconveniently removed from that kind of the role that I had. And we started making some hard decisions.
Well, no, and then COVID.
And one of the reasons why we gave you people a pile of not bullshit.
No, but the
reason the personas were invented because of the potential for me to go back into that line of work. And now apparently, sorry, I just bumped the microphone. Apparently I don't give a shit because I just got a blowjob on the internet yesterday.
Oh yeah, you did. That was a really nice one too.
And we'll explain here in a second.
Are we explain? No,
we'll explain a few things.
Are.
We'll explain a few things. So
I'm sorry that he made a really good point earlier in the car, and yeah, that's fair. Nope, I'm good with it.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
That's where this came from.
No, I know. That's why
it's his fault.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Joe made a really good point, and when he made it, that made this decision for me. I didn't realize it until the words started coming out of my mouth. So, I'm not going to do that work anymore.
No.
Well, not necessarily.
Not in that context.
I'm not going to do that kind of work for those types of people.
No.
I'm going to do it maybe for the types of people that might be listening to this and other folks that have need.
Who take you for who you are.
I don't want to say the common folk because that's not an accurate assessment.
It's not because
everybody else, the 99%.
Anybody who's not going to judge.
Because those people
based off
and this is what I tell my students is those people can afford hundreds of me.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay for hundreds of me, but they can afford hundreds of me.
Yeah.
And I'm easily replaceable. But within that particular part of my skill set, there's a whole massive amount of people that never have access to the information that I have in my brain.
No, because they can't afford the rates that most of those
the industry
people,
standard.
Yeah.
So barring that, if you fucking people want more details, message us on all of our various things.
Which might be adjusting again.
It might be, but it'll be pretty obvious.
Because it was fair.
It'll be pretty obvious, and I will fucking answer questions because besides the personas, like if you want to call that lying, fine, and I'll accept that. Besides the personas, we don't lie to you.
No.
We don't make things up. This is who we are. which is another thing that we said to the photographer today.
Oh yeah, because he was like, if you can stay in character, and you were like,
well,
dude,
it started in the car on the way to the location. And I lean over and I go, hey, dude, if this is TMI, sorry, but this is who we fucking are.
Yeah, you said that more than once. Actually, you said that after the blowjob when you were still waving the flag around.
Yeah. And when we got to a location,
he's very professional.
He made some comment about, I asked him what he wanted me to do. And he goes, well, just stay in character. And I go, whoa, bro. There is no character.
Yeah. No.
This is who I am.
This is our reality.
I am literally what you see is what you get.
I heard him giggling more than once after he turned the camera off too.
Right.
Like I could hear him giggling in the back.
Even during, he
was
gave
trying
a little
not
chuckles.
to make noise when he did it then.
But that's just it. And if you watch this video, which we might figure out a way to get you the link for it. If you watch these videos, you might better understand the whole hot pile that is us. Because that is literally us. And I don't really have much interest or intention on letting you think that that's not us. So, that aside, there's also been a few little health concerns.
Not
with her. She's perfect in almost every way. I am a hot fucking mess and have been for a long time.
You are a hot mess.
I
still love you though.
If you folks listen to, I think I had a bad back thing.
Well, you didn't publish that thing.
Well, if we didn't, fine, sorry. But
you're going to. You didn't even want to listen to it to edit it, which is why it's not published yet.
No, because I wasn't grown up enough.
This is what we're going to do. I'm going to listen to it, and I'm going to tell you if there's anything that needs edited. If there's not, you're just going to publish it. I feel like that's the appropriate way to handle this.
It might be. I wasn't ready as I am now. I wasn't evolved enough as I am now. And I'm not trying to be pretentious. I'm just saying that I've gone through some growth in the last 6 or 8 months.
It was the time when you were realizing what was going on.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to say that I'm dying necessarily, because we all are. None of us.
Everyone who's alive is dying.
Yeah, none of us are getting out of this alive, people.
You are birthed into dying. That's how that works. Like, that's the end game.
As soon as the birthing is done,
you're dying.
You're dying.
That's how that works. You have a clock has started. The clock has started.
Tick, 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 tick. Some days the ticking is faster
and louder. There are days that the ticking of our children I can hear because I'm gonna untick their clocks.
And I'm not necessarily saying that my ticking got louder necessarily, but some days more over the last 6 or 8 months.
The ticking speeds up a little.
It felt like the ticking was faster and louder.
Yeah.
So the quick and dirty, I broke my fucking back in the military.
A long
time ago.
He's old.
Fuck you.
I love you.
It caused a
you're
lot.
Gonna be 60 here soon, right?
No. Like in 15.
I'm sorry, no, 50. 50. That's right.
But that's still
I overestimated. You're going to be 50.
You know, hey, who's your daddy and what does he do?
I love that movie. I've been 40 for almost 10 years now. So fuck you.
Well, not officially.
I said almost.
The government is going to recognize it here soon. So we
I don't want to talk about that.
We've gone through some crucible. I have, and
it's a we. I haven't gone through the physical aspect of it, but I have certainly been a party to the repercussions of you going through it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to waste anybody's time with the details. We'll save that for a different thing. But the reality is, the broken back didn't get fixed for a very long time, and it complicated everything.
Yes.
Including my weenus.
I can't fuck you when you call it a weenus. I just can't. You got it. That I can't fuck a weenus. That's not a thing that I can fuck.
Well, sometimes the weenus will fuck you. So
no, the weenus never fucks me.
I don't tell you when it changes
Your cock
identity.
fucks me.
I don't change you when I don't tell you.
You don't tell me when
I don't tell you when it changes.
Wow.
So
anyway,
keeping that all in mind, I should probably start a backup recording.
Holy shit! Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm going to do that right
You
now.
haven't. Why don't you do it on your phone? What are you touching? You're touching things on the computer. If you fuck this up,
do it right now.
This is our first recording in like 6 goddamn months.
I'm doing it right now.
You are gonna fuck it up, and I will kill you.
I'm doing it right now.
Jesus Christ!
It's done.
Oh my God.
No, it's not a god. It's just me.
No, you're right. If there was a God, you would have been recording that the whole time.
Well, he didn't tell me anything, so I didn't have the inspiration.
I don't mean that in any kind of actual way.
In spirit, what is the Latin?
In spiritu sancti, I think.
That says something else. There's another word there.
I don't know.
Any Latin folks can go ahead and tell us how fucked up we are.
Of the Lord. Et tu spirit. I don't remember.
It doesn't.
I don't
matter.
remember. I'm teaching
my
child Latin, and I don't remember.
It's fine.
Okay.
So
was like a year and a half ago.
So fucked up back, and those of you that know me personally, still love you, but shut up. Because
he doesn't need any more light.
I'm not using this as an excuse.
No.
This is simply an explanation.
Yes.
I don't make a whole lot of excuses, as those of you that are close to me know. I give explanations.
Is that so?
Put it back in your pants, Roxy. I am positively sure.
Okay.
So this whole making a decision to reach out to people that we haven't talked to in a second has yielded a lot of positive windfalls.
Yeah.
And she's experiencing one of those right now in her pants britches.
I need to.
So, what else has happened? I'm going through that whole medical thing, getting that shit fixed. And
we're figuring out how to manage that.
And if
we are back in the swinger game a little more full time than we were because of the nervousness with how things were functioning.
If I am correct in my examining of the files, I believe that this is the very next broadcast after I told you how much my penis doesn't work.
Yeah.
And if that's the case,
episode, Jesus Christ, we're still trying to figure that shit out. That can be a whole separate thing though.
Yeah. If that's the case, you should know that has continued to complicate things,
yes,
which we will also talk about.
That needs to be a different episode though. That is a whole,
because
actually there needs to be a full disclosure to some of our friends before it becomes an episode.
I am not hiding it anymore.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is there was no full disclosure.
I tested it with Tony.
And if someone finds out the succession of events, they're going to be a little upset that they weren't told before we recorded it. We need to have a conversation first. That's all.
Will go out of my way to fix those things.
We're going to talk
I've
about
told
it.
a few people the straight up, no bullshit, this is how things are going.
That's
Today with Joe, I laid it all out. I'm like, just so you know, this is how this went.
Yes.
And this is how things are going.
It worked.
And I just almost popped it in the kitchen in front of him.
Well, I don't think he would have cared, but
that's where I'm at.
He is very respectful in that he looks away and stuff.
Because he's a professional.
He is a professional.
But
if we're saying he is the most professional
right next to Vex.
Photographer, videographer I have ever worked with.
Right next to Vex.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
I put Joe and Vex
most professional
in exactly the same box.
Now, Vex has never filmed me having sex though. So,
whatever.
Or any sexual thing. But I bet he would be just as professional.
And I'm pounding my whiskey on the table. Why don't you, in your little fucking infiniteness?
I need to find his email. I got to look for it. I don't remember where it's at.
Okay. fix it.
No, I do. Yeah, he's in New York, and so I have to reach out to him.
That stuff aside, right?
But anyway,
that stuff aside,
there was the money where we needed to actually make money.
There's some health stuff.
There was the health, but then this was becoming the job that I didn't want to have.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay.
So the health stuff,
yes,
that we're still working through,
yes,
very much put me out of commission for about 2.5 months.
Well, a little longer, honestly, but it's been backing off.
Yeah, there was some build and some back off, and then we found a magic, and then we lost the magic, and we had to rediscover the magic.
Yeah,
but the reality is, this is a fucking thing.
2 years, actually,
and I personally figured this stuff out at a lifestyle party. It was a house party.
Oh,
and
God,
we went to this, and we'll tell you all about it. We went to this thing, and it's like a 4.5 hour drive. And
it was well worth it.
While there, I'm running through all kinds of anxiety because of the things that I'm going through.
Yeah, you didn't want to go.
I wanted to go, but
you did, but you didn't.
I knew full well that I was going to have issues.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. I know every day that there's going to be issues, and I make the decision to have that thing anyway, or do that thing anyway and go for it. And that's really that right there. That right there is literally the ticket to everyone's success, is knowing full well this might break, this might fail, this might fuck you in the ass without any lube, but you fucking need to do it. And that's kind of where I'm at.
And be honest.
Like
about it.
Don't purest pretend. Kind of acceptance, maybe.
Well, acceptance goes a long way to making your brain work right? Which sometimes makes other things work.
And we've said this before, that like repression is the pathway to psychoses.
It is.
And I have no interest in having psychoses beyond the ones that I already have. So
thank you for adding that caveat.
So we're just going to peel the fucking wrapper off this bitch and lay it out there.
Yeah.
So that said, what were you just talking about?
So this was becoming the job that I didn't want to have. When we started this, it wasn't about the money. We wanted to make money doing something we loved doing. That was the original goal.
Give me your phone.
My phone. Why? Do you need my phone?
So I can get an understanding of why you just turned red.
Oh. Shut up.
We had to figure out a way to make money.
We wanted to do this because we loved it, and we were hoping to make money and be successful doing it. Except we were harboring and rating our success by how much money we were making, which inherently made it stressful because we had to advertise and we had to do this and we had to do that and we had to do all these things in order to make it successful, to make enough money to survive on. And it became the job that I never wanted. It was moving away from the thing that I did want, which was us talking to each other and having fun and just kind of doing this in our spare time when we were able, to the thing that we had to do in order to make money. And it became less enjoyable for me.
Yes.
I dreaded having to sit down and talk to you, which I didn't want that to happen. It's not that I didn't want to talk to you. I dreaded having to do it in quality, air quotes, enough to make money off of.
Yeah.
That's not what I wanted. I wanted to have a few drinks and talk to my person, like the other part of me, and enjoy what we had.
I love you so fucking much.
I love you too. And it stopped being that, though. It stopped being about that. At some point, it started being about what everyone else wanted and not about what we wanted.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that anyone requested that of us. It's not like someone said something and it made us do that. That's not what happened. It wasn't any of you people. It was that we started making it the thing that we needed to make money, and our success was starting to be geared on how much money we made, which was not much. And I mean, honestly, it wasn't. But it made it less fun.
Mm-hmm.
When we started making rules that were around making more money.
It was,
and I mean, there's still going to be some of that exists,
it was
right?
really surreal.
Like after talking to Joe, the whole way we advertise is going to change drastically, actually.
Yes.
And it's geared to encourage people to spend money. But if all of this that we give you just because we enjoy it is enough for you, I am also okay with that.
Yeah.
And I need to be okay with that because that's the part that makes me happy is interacting with people who are like-minded for whatever reason. It doesn't even matter.
Or want to be like-minded.
Right?
Right? Because we're not just catering to our little niche. We're talking to everybody
to
that
people who used to be like me.
Is interested in listening.
Who were like, that's a thing?
Yeah.
You don't feel like this? Yes, I did feel like that. And this is when it happened and when it changed. Like, I love talking to people about that stuff. I don't want it to be about the money. I want it to be the thing that we do because it's who we are and what we love. And it's funny because I read so many articles on how people burn out on this kind of stuff because they do it to make the money and then it becomes not fun anymore. And that's exactly what happened.
And we knew this going in.
And it's what happened to me. It is exactly what happened to me.
We researched this before we even started.
Not
and we're
as much as we should have.
Well, yes, I did. And I saw those same things. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a thing. We're just not going to let that happen.
Except.
And then we let that happen.
Yeah.
And it was really weird because we would have some of our most epic little arguments because we weren't going to record.
Yeah.
Because one of us was in a shitty mood.
So many arguments. And we decided, I'm sorry, but anymore, we need to record when one of us is in a shitty mood.
So,
because this is our goddamn therapy.
So
this is couples therapy, people. This is what it really looks like.
That brings us to another
through
thing.
Our shit here.
Right? That brings us to another little key thing. If you're listening to this and you start feeling like, whoa, that's making me a little uncomfortable.
It's probably
Shut
good.
up and don't hit the pause button.
No, it's probably good because things that make you uncomfortable.
we are going to talk about stuff now
that makes us uncomfortable. So it should damn well make you uncomfortable.
To put it in perspective, we're going to talk about stuff on the resurgence of sexy jammies that before we deleted the fucking audio for. Like we threw it away. We're like, that shit, because one of us was salty or a little bit too drunk or a little bit too something, and we're going to throw it away. We're not doing that anymore.
No. Because we lose something when we re-record because of that. It might
be a little shorter.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's kind of always been one of those things that we kind of missed. We did a Fast Talk Friday on I Had a Bad Day. No, we had a fight. And
we did publish that one, I think.
And there are people that have told us since that was the best episode that they've ever heard. And it hurt us a little bit to sit there and have the conversation. You're kind of tearing up. We teared up through most of that thing. And I was brutally honest. You were brutally honest. And that is who and what we are. Right?
I just miss talking to you like this.
I love you so fucking much. I love you so fucking much. When you said, like, your other half, I always feel like that. Like, you're the thing that keeps me from choking people out.
That's the restraint.
I save lives. I save lives like a fucking superhero every goddamn day. And it's not because I stopped the bus or fished the boat out of the water. It's because I didn't choke the stupid fuckers out.
You've sort of done the same thing for me.
And beat them into a tiny little pile of mush. So, I mean, that's us, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. And maybe maybe that needs to be like the opening little theme song to this episode. It's going to have to be the Metallica version. I'll have, the essence of gold is one of those things that is always, when it plays, just makes me tingle inside. And I'm tingling inside right now just thinking about how that sounds. But that's the it of it, right? Not saying that we lost ourselves. Well, I think what we're saying is that we didn't show ourselves to you as fully as what we were intending to.
As often as I wanted.
Right.
We wanted.
I'm picking up your slack because you're a blithering pile of mess over there.
Shut up.
Leave me be. You cry it. What was the last one that you cried on?
Shut up.
What were we watching with the kids?
I am not medicated to make that stop. Shut up.
I asked you a very clear question.
I don't remember. It was
We just watched a movie.
So stupid.
It was Moon Knight, wasn't it?
No, it might have been Doctor Strange. I cried through half of.
It was Doctor Strange. The last one.
Shut up.
You cried through half the movie.
I did. Actually, yeah. I admit to these things. Okay. Well, that's a different conversation.
It is.
It is. We need to talk about antidepressants in my experience with them, because it is a different conversation. It's a numbing thing, not a.
Well, write it down so you can have a note of it, because all of this.
I can't see enough to write it down. I need something to wipe my eyes.
Well, put your glasses back on.
But my eyes are too goopy with the tears.
My underpants are largely clean. Would you like me to use those?
Well, you were wiping away the tears earlier. So. So
apparently she can't properly deep throat. So when
I can do it just fine. It just makes my eyes water.
When she tries to, she ends up crying, and it's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, I went there.
I was actually surprised at how little it messed my makeup up.
Well, we bought better makeup, so
it's organic. It wipes off when you touch your face. I don't understand how it didn't all run off of me.
Yeah.
But it didn't. That shit, it's like when it's tears, it doesn't do anything. But if I put water on my face, if I showered and let water hit my face, it all just runs off. It's so weird. But tears, it's salty. So they chemically made it so that it recognizes salt. And it's oh, she's crying. Don't run. It'll make her look like shit. It's weird. I don't understand.
So, I mean, I guess and I'm not saying we're done. I'm saying that to sum up what we've covered so far, we've changed.
I don't know that's necessarily true.
I'm not saying that we changed in epiphany style. I'm saying that we reached a point of understanding.
Grown.
Sure.
It's not changed. We haven't changed.
Well, growth is change.
Not necessarily. We are
How is that not change?
Because we're still the people that we were.
Except
we're just a little smarter.
We're better versions of those people.
That's not change. That's growth.
I can go grab you a dictionary.
I could still be the same person that I was a few months ago if I really wanted to.
We have about 40 of them.
That's why it's not change. I could choose to be that same person. Change is not being that person anymore. Growth is understanding you can be that person, but choosing to be better.
I don't have enough degrees in psychotherapy and psychoanalysis.
You don't have any degrees in psychotherapy and psychoanalysis.
That's what I said just then. It was a second ago.
Is it?
To be able to properly argue your point.
Well, then ask your doctor. I bet he would agree with me.
That all said, whatever.
I could show up like this and ask him myself. But as you said, that might be a bad decision.
We're not going to fuck my therapist.
No, we aren't. I might. He's not my therapist. I can fuck him all I want. I've thought about this. It's not a conflict of interest if he's just fucking me.
She wants to fuck all of my good doctors.
Well, that's because they're hot. It's not my fault.
So
Blue eyes looking at me over his mask.
did you just get wet in your hair?
Maybe a little.
Wow.
I want your urologist to probe me.
First one of the.
He is so nerdy, sexy. It's not even. Anyway, that's not.
Besides
even
the point.
related.
And he might actually end up listening to this, so you might.
He might.
Want to
Have you
mind your
told him
P's and-
about this?
I don't know that. I think no.
Okay, then why would he end up listening to it?
I'm just saying.
If
People.
he ends up listening to it and you haven't told him about it, he knows who he is in any day.
That 30 seconds before he knocked on the door and just
Oh.
opened it,
My God.
my cock was in your mouth.
No, I wanted other things to be happening.
Anyway,
This isn't our job. This is us.
yeah.
That's the point. This
Yeah.
isn't our job. This isn't what we want to. It would be great to do this and make enough money to not have to do anything else. But that's not the point. That's not the point.
That's not the point.
And that's not the goal.
And it can't be,
No.
right?
No,
It can't-
because it
can't be the
loses
goal. And
it's pureness.
yeah. Yeah. If I have to like I've never told you this. This is one of those stories I've never told you.
Okay.
So I was in various youth groups when I was younger.
Sorry.
And one of those youth groups, and this, she gives me shit for this all the time. One of those youth groups had a talent show the last night of camp.
Okay, why do I vaguely feel like you did tell me
I've
this
never
story?
told you this.
Are you sure?
I've never told you this.
Okay.
I'm 92% sure that 91.5% sure that I've never told you this story.
Okay.
So that particular week
Yeah.
was actually very pivotal in a lot of ways.
Okay.
I met my first bully, like my purest form of bully, tiny little man, which you've since met.
Oh, I have.
Yeah. And he and I didn't get along necessarily. And
Hence bully.
yeah, right. I want to say 3 days before the events of this story takes place, he threw a stick at me and it hit me in the head.
Okay.
And that was the first time I ever lost consciousness.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
That's not a stick.
Well, it was.
No, that's not a stick.
It hit me right here.
Okay, still not a stick.
And to this day,
if it was big enough to cause an unconsciousness level, that is not a stick.
fine. But to this day, I can still remember the people standing over me, like vague little shadows dancing in front of my eyes, talking about how, well, his pupils are weird and he's blah, 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 all the medical stuff. Anyway, so
I don't think I want to know how many times you were knocked unconscious by asshole people.
Well,
it seems like it was a lot,
that same group,
which explains so many things.
that same group ended up continuing the process somewhat. But I was not having a good time at camp.
No, I can't imagine you were.
And the night before the events of this story, I may have stuck my head out the window of the bunkhouse and maybe had a little bit of a cry because I was kind of missing home, and that should say something.
That should say something. Jesus Christ. I was just thinking, why would you be missing?
And I didn't want to be there anymore.
If it's worse than that,
Yeah. So
then that's fucked up.
this is where she's going to start cussing at me. So there was a talent show.
Okay.
And I decided that I was going to lip sync.
Lip sync.
I got up in front of the entire camp. I got up in front of all the counselors and all the adults and all the kids that didn't want to spend any time around me.
Okay.
And I lip synced something by Kenny Rogers.
Okay.
It might have been The Gambler.
Okay.
And when I went up there to do the thing, I'm like, hey, I need a microphone. Like, we don't have a microphone. The only microphone they had was a microphone with the microphone cable, and it wasn't even like wired. It was bare frayed cable wrapped around the leads on top of the audio device that was putting the sound out.
That seems safe.
Yeah. Well, it's just audio. So it's like negative volts almost. It's like nothing.
Uh-huh.
So there's like, this is the only microphone we have. Well, here's a cup. So he hands me this fucking Dixie cup and he goes, just hold it up to your mouth like you're using a microphone. Okay. So I got up in front of like 300 kids and counselors and adults and lip synced. It might have been Gambler by Kenny Rogers. And I think I was like 12 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
What was the point of this story?
Well, you were going to cuss at me because you want me to sing.
I want you to fucking karaoke with me, you musical doing motherfucker. That's what I want.
And so, in addition to all the other stuff.
You lip synced. That's not the same story as, I was in this musical and I did. Fuck you.
Well, I've done that too.
I know, that's my problem.
That was kind of
the other one.
I only said that you're going to cuss at me.
Okay, this is true.
I don't remember what the point of this story was, except that you were going to cuss at me. You were going to say mean words. Whatever.
Which I already did.
But back to the topic at hand. We want to be back.
Yes.
We want to be doing this.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's not for you people. It's for you and I.
Yeah. My sanity has
and
missed this.
If you motherfuckers want to sit in our bedroom and watch and or listen.
That's basically what you're doing.
Yeah. In all of the things. If you people want to sit in our bedroom and watch and listen to the various things that we go through and we deal with, cool. And if you can get something out of it positive, cool. If you can laugh and giggle at us.
God, I hope you can.
Cool. What was it I did earlier? I said something and I'm like, but did you laugh at me?
Oh, it was the cowboy hat thing.
So one of the various little things that we do these days gets us a lot of weird stuff in our house. And in this particular case, there's a straw cowboy hat sitting on my dining room table.
It's a lot taller.
And I'm like, hey, where'd that cowboy hat come from? And I grab it and I stick it on my head.
Then you do a weird little dance that
those of you
doesn't actually contextually make sense, but
those of you that know me personally know that I have a massive, massive skull bit.
It fit you.
And this hat fit me. And I go, whoa, it fit. And I did a little hoedown dance.
It was.
And you looked at me and shook your head and a little giggle.
I did shake my head.
A little giggle. And you're ridiculous.
Yeah, that's how I responded. You're like, but did it make you laugh? I'm like, but you're ridiculous.
But did it make you laugh?
Because my first question was, or did that hurt? Because, I mean, everything you do hurts. I don't know why I ask. I ask because I love you and I'm concerned about your well-being.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Are you okay?
I'm trying to stop saying that, but I don't know what.
Are you okay?
I don't know what words to put in place instead
Are
of
you okay?
that articulate what it is I'm actually trying to ask you. We've had that conversation. I'm not actually asking you if you're okay. I know the answer is no. I feel like what I'm asking you
that's not true.
How bad is that going to be later?
That's not true. The answer is yes, I am.
Okay, no, physically you're never okay. Mentally you're making yourself okay.
No. That's not it at all.
Is it?
It's a different. It's a different thing. I am okay, and okay might mean resign.
But that's also not the question I'm asking you.
But I don't know the question that you're asking.
You do know what I'm asking when I say that. You know.
Not all the time.
You do. The words come out of my mouth, and it's I need to know where you're at on the level of 0 to fuck me in the face.
I'm always almost in the fucking
you're
in the
not,
face mood.
Though. I love that you say that, but you're not. Oh, okay, contextually speaking. I guess I didn't phrase that appropriately. Maybe it should have been fuck me in the ass for you.
Fuck me in the ass or fuck you in the ass?
You, which is why contextually it's more appropriate because
without lube.
Your answer to that
something
would
a little
be,
spiky.
Probably not going to do that thing.
It's like the dildo from Seven.
Right? I'm not saying fuck me in the ass. We do that thing. You, fuck you in the ass. I feel like that answer would be a good indicator of how your day is going. Great, or getting fucked in the ass without lube. Didn't agree to the fucking in the ass in the first place.
With the dildo.
Without the lube is even worse.
With the dildo from Seven.
From Seven?
If you don't know, you don't need to look it up.
From Seven.
Yeah. What's in the box?
The movie with... That's not a dildo. That was a severed head.
No. That's the same movie, though.
What dildo?
If you don't...
I've watched the movie. I don't remember there being a... This is not a conversation I want to be having right now.
There's a dildo.
There's an actual dildo?
There's a...
Or is it something that y'all have determined is a dildo?
It's a custom-made strap-on dildo.
Why do I not remember that being in that movie?
But you need to watch it again and you'll understand.
I really don't remember that being in that movie.
So that's a bad day.
Seven dildo.
Ass fucked without lube.
By the Seven dildo?
By the Seven dildo. Is a bad day.
I feel like this is where we need to rank this. like where you at? I don't know the right way to phrase it, but that's what I'm asking when I say, are you okay? I'm not actually asking if you're okay. I know the answer is not really.
Well, if I use that stupid little pain scale and I say 7, you're going to misinterpret it. I don't
know that I will now.
I'd have to say like dildo. And you're like, oh.
When you go 7, I go, what? You go 7. I would know. I'd be like, oh, wait, you need to fix things because that's really bad. Anyway.
Transition. Insert here.
So we decided we wanted to be back for multiple reasons. We've been talking about it for months.
Which we've largely covered those things.
And I apologize for the very nasally sounding voice that I have now, but crying.
She still has cum in her nose.
Wow. No, thank fucking God for small miracles. Don't ever ask me to give you a blowjob with my head upside down. It will never happen. Especially not after the stories and the video. Never happen.
I didn't say I was going to come in your mouth.
Well, that would be good because that would come out in a very
we decided
manner.
today that's only happened like maybe a dozen times.
Maybe.
And half of those were with help.
No, all of those were with help. I don't think it's ever not been with help.
That one time in the kitchen where I pinned you in the corner and I fucked your mouth and it was like 10 minutes.
I don't remember that.
Oh, you don't?
No.
We can reproduce that.
Oh, can we?
Yeah. I might have pulled your hair some.
Okay. I don't remember that.
I do very clearly.
I'm glad you do. I'm very glad that you do.
I can take you in the kitchen and show you after we're done.
No, I already gave you a 30-minute blowjob. My
jaw I didn't say it was going to take 30 minutes.
Is done.
You said that wasn't sore earlier.
It hadn't caught up to me yet. 35 minutes of blowjob.
With that said, so if we want to dance onto that, you are, in fact, a working model.
I am. Well, a working freelance model, which is different.
It doesn't matter.
It's very different. I'm not a mainstream model.
Wherein
you will not see me in any bedhead commercials. Very sexy, by the way.
It was.
You know who you are.
I have actually seen that box. When they showed a picture of that box with her head on it, too. I'm like, I've seen that fucking picture before.
So
before this.
So I'm not that. I'm sort of trying to be that, but not really.
Well,
I'm getting too old to be that. This is the reality, is that I am officially too old to be that.
Well, your last pregnancy was a geriatric pregnancy.
Fuck you.
Advanced age.
Fuck you.
Advanced
no,
age
that
is
was the first one was advanced age.
yeah,
the second one was fucking geriatric. Goddamned assholes.
So, for, I don't know, 5-6 years, you've had a modeling person. No,
it's
God
been
damn
a
it.
fucking long ass time.
It's been fucking 11 years now.
I was going to take my vet tech boards and looking at Model Mayhem at the same time.
Yeah.
So it has been 15 years.
No. I'm just saying this persona that you use in that
the current
industry.
persona
Yes.
has been
Since you were teaching.
at least 12 years ago.
So that was 2011.
At least 12 years because I originally I needed to change the name. We're not going to talk about why right now. It's a little embarrassing. But when the thing happened that happened, I felt I needed to change the name.
You did.
So I have been this current persona for, about 12 years.
Yeah.
11 years. 11 years.
Call it 11. Whatever. A dozen.
But I've been doing the freelance modeling for more than 15.
Yeah.
Because you encouraged me before we got married.
We did the showcase in Chicago something like 16 years ago.
Was that before we got married?
Yes.
Holy shit. Jesus Christ. It's a long fucking time ago.
So you've been a working model for a long time.
Yeah. Well, working freelance model, which is not the
And
same.
I'm not saying that she makes money. Maybe
I do when I actually get good jobs.
We can call it a starving model, but you don't look like you're starving.
No, I'm not.
But
Fuck you. But I'm not that thing. I've never been that thing.
And so the last evolution was we were trying to tie everything together.
Yeah.
And trying to run that thing and the other thing and all the things together. So we're on the not give a fuck stage.
Yeah. For the most.
She was kind of apprehensive about how are we going to separate sexy jammies and the modeling work. And my answer was, why bother?
It was. And so my only reasoning was that the way I deal with certain types of people is different than how I would deal with them as me.
Yes.
And I didn't want the crossover. Because Roxy's me. Like, that is who I am.
Yes. As surely as it would be if it was on your driver's license.
Sometimes my modeling persona is not necessarily who I am. It is me for the most part. But it's me minus some of my easily irritated proclivities. Is that the way to say that?
It could be, yeah.
I am much less tolerant of certain types of behavior as myself than I am as my modeling persona. Rephrasing, I'm a lot less tolerant of certain behaviors. I have zero patience for any douchebaggery as me. Like, as me being myself, I have zero tolerance for any kind of, you're being a douchebag. Go the fuck away. I don't want to deal with you. As my modeling persona, I can disassociate that from who I really am without lying to people. I don't lie. We've talked about this. I'm not good at it. As a general whole, I don't lie. But what I can do is act. And that's what I see the modeling as, is an acting job. I can act a certain way. And this is why I said I think maybe now I would be better at the whole stripper thing than I was back then. Because this is what you've always told me, but it's never really sunk in necessarily in a way that resonated with me. But it's just an acting job. That's all it is. It's an acting job. I wouldn't go in there as Roxy. I couldn't do that as Roxy. Because Roxy'd be like, motherfucker, I will punch you in the throat.
Twice.
What is wrong with you? The fuck is your problem? Who is your mama that you think you can talk to people like that? But my modeling persona would be like, okay, just they're being douchebags, just let it go. Right? Like they're paying you good money, just move on. Like the whole fucking micromanaging photographer. Roxy wouldn't have taken that shit. She would have been like, motherfucker, I am not the exorcist. That is not something I can do. Move the fuck on. But my modeling persona is he's paying me the money to do what he wants. Just do the best you can and fuck him if he doesn't like it. Like it's not quite not me. It's like when you're at work, right? You know that you shouldn't go, motherfucker, what's your problem? To your boss. Like that's not something you should say, regardless of whether you really want to as you or not. My modeling persona is my work face. So I disassociate it a little bit from the real me. Nobody is their real selves at work. They're just not. You can't be. You have to be publicly acceptable.
Yeah, right.
So that's where I see the difference. So there's probably still going to be a separation, right? But if you happen to make the correlation between the two, which you probably will, because we're not trying that hard, I don't necessarily care. I just want something that is not associated with our swinger life to be the direction that maybe the slightly more douchey people can go. And I won't, give them a tremendously hard time for it.
Are we telling them who
I
you
don't
are?
know, are we? I don't know that I give a shit anymore.
I don't know that this is an
Joe
issue.
made a really good point in the car.
One of her students.
Oh my God. I still
Do you want to tell the story then, or do you want me to? Because I'll tell it quick. You'll tell it long. You'll do sidetracks.
You can tell it because you're right. I would get sidetracked because, well, the reason it changed initially is because I was almost outed by one of my students.
So
plus the original name was
not appropriate.
Not appropriate anymore.
And we won't give you that.
We're not going to talk about that.
If you dig and dig and dig and you figure it out, keep it to yourself.
Please, for the love of God. I mean, I'm literally asking, please keep it to yourself. That is not something that
it's inappropriate. And when I say that,
it is.
You know that I'm being honest.
And my heart breaks a little every time I think about the fact that I even did that in the first place and used that as my name.
Well, whatever.
Well, okay.
What's done is done, right?
Right. And
so
and in my brain, the thing that was going to happen, I didn't think was going to happen. So
right.
That's where that
end of explanation.
Yeah.
She taught college classes.
I did.
For a couple of years.
I was not
and
what you would call an appropriate college teacher.
No, you're an amazing teacher.
I very much fraternized with my students.
You're an amazing teacher, and we have briefly touched on.
They thought so too
in the past that one of your first relationships with another woman
by experiences
was with one of your students.
It was.
And within the group that you chose to hang out with and the group that she belonged to,
I enjoyed their company.
Was a number of other people. And one of those was a fairly sweet.
God, he was amazing. He was a really sweet guy.
Yeah. And he'd been dealt a few rough decks and he was trying to change his shit. And he knew what you did. And this entire core group knew what you did.
Yeah.
And through the course of it.
Yeah, I didn't hide it from them.
No. And through the course of it, it evolved a little bit. And one of the days.
A non-core student somehow Googled me and found my Model Mayhem profile that I had originally had.
Mm-hmm.
And my student, who was a good friend of mine, caught him doing so, shut him down, and then promptly told me about it. Like, as soon as he figured it out, he's like, I think you need to fix this.
Yes.
This is what happened. And as soon as he told me, I shut everything down.
Yeah, well, I went on a hard canceling spree. And the thing that came out of it and the same conversation was he recommended a new name.
He did recommend a new name.
And the new name.
He was only a tiny bit off. I had to change it.
Yeah. Well,
he was off in the gender.
It's hard to understand Latin unless you grow up speaking Latin.
Yeah.
Or if you're like classically trained in speaking Latin.
Yeah.
And he thinks, yeah, that's a fair assessment. He thinks a lot of you. And in the course of that and his experience with you as his teacher, he made a decision. So he named you Adina Magister.
Which Magister, I didn't know this actually until I started homeschooling. Magister is the male context. Magistra is the female. So he got the gender wrong. But what it means...
You ran that horse for... What, 10 years?
It was a long time before I realized that it was...
Yeah, because we just changed it.
Genderly wrong.
Yeah, we just changed it like a year and a half or 2 years ago.
But it means beautiful teacher.
Yeah.
And that was the name he gave me.
Entirely appropriate.
And it definitely hits me in the heart space. Like...
You get misty sometimes when you think about it. So that's who the model Roxy is Adina Magistra. And she's fun.
She's a dirty single girl.
Well,
is the best way to say that. Like that's how I see, right? That is my persona. Because it is a persona. And I do think that the word available is the better way to say things, not necessarily single. Very much available.
Obtainable.
To everybody. Whether that's true or not.
Available is not true, but obtainable is.
So.
There's the subtle difference in the label, right?
I guess.
And understanding that we still hate labels.
Yeah.
But
I have a different mindset when I think like model me versus me. There are things that Adina will do that Roxy will not.
Might punch you in the throat for.
Probably, if you talk to me a certain way as Roxy, I will fucking throat punch you. But if I'm in Adina mode, it's a different kind of conversation. I'm a little gentler. I'm not me. It's just I'm a little more tolerant of certain behaviors.
That unfortunately.
Like if you request me to video conference you my feet, I might say yes as Adina. Roxy's going, what the fuck? Can I just video record it and send the copy to you? Why you want me to do this? But Adina's like, okay, well, maybe. I might be able to work that out.
So that's how you find you. Right?
Yeah.
We're laying a lot of stuff on you people, but this is what we do.
Well, and I want us to be us.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of it being me-centric. I don't want that. That's also why Adina exists. Because there's no James in Adina. It's just Adina. It's always been that way. I function as a solo model. That's just how that is. Like it's always been like that. It's been like that for years. My modeling persona is just my modeling persona.
But today, Adina gave me an amazing blowjob on camera.
Yes, she did.
And it's not the first time that Adina has not been single. So that's the difference, right? Between available,
yes,
versus obtainable.
Yes. Well, and Adina, even in that, it's all quote acting.
Because a lot of
for
people,
their benefit. That's the other thing.
Yes.
It's for their benefit. Whereas Roxy, I don't fucking care what you want. I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
this is what I want for me. Whereas Adina's like, oh, you want to see this? Okay, I'll do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that I wouldn't take requests as Roxy, but I'm going to be a little more critical of the request.
Fully understand that Roxy
might say
might
no.
send you a picture of her middle finger with some colorful metaphors.
Like, for me, the delineation is important because I don't see Adina as a whole as the real me. I see her as a slightly modified version of me who might be a little, for lack of a better way to say it, a little bit more politically correct. Because I am not. I don't give a shit what you want. I don't give a shit what you like. This isn't about you. It never has been. Whereas Adina can be about you. Roxy's not. I am not. I'm about you. Not anybody else. I don't care what they want.
I know.
Adina might care what they want.
A little less than Roxy.
No, a little more than Roxy. Roxy could give a flying fuck.
Yes, that's the correct.
Like, you talk to Roxy in a certain tone of voice, and I'll be like, "Listen, motherfucker, what is the matter with you?" But you send Roxy a dick pic. I'm gonna be like, "What the fuck is your problem?" You send Adina a dick pic. I'm gonna be like, "Okay, listen.
Careful what you're doing."
I understand. I'm not soliciting dick pics. That is not what I'm doing.
There's a proper way to send a dick pic. And you can look like 3 episodes ago, and we explain it.
We do. I'm just saying that Adina receives a dick pic. I might be like, okay, listen, love, that might not be the best way to start a conversation. Because Adina's not swinger me. Right? Like, that's the main difference. Is she's not the swinger me.
Yeah.
She's just out there trying to make her money and, work her shit and all of that. It's not really me, though. I've always been more comfortable doing things as her than I have as myself. Because me would be like, okay, that's a little weird. Can we just talk about how that's a little weird?
I'm kind of
like some of the things I've done in some of our Joe photo shoots. Like, that's a little weird.
It's a little weird.
But Adina's like, fuck it. You're paying me good money. Whatever. I'll do that.
I'm coming to the realization kind of as I'm saying this.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily know when I lost myself on this.
We did, though.
We did.
I don't remember
because
when it happened
I'm
either.
feeling the same vibes that you're throwing down, right? That we got off track. And you can call it greedy. You can call it I don't know. I don't know, and I don't care.
Well, I don't think that's what
we
it
hate
was,
fucking
but
labels. And as people have told me recently, labels are important because each one of us interprets the label that we place in our own little brain a little differently.
Labels are important for figuring out where you're making your mistakes.
Yeah, to define it.
Labels themselves are not important.
Right? To like ascribe to one.
But, yeah.
And to task yourself with obtaining that.
And figuring out the labels you assign to yourself.
I want this label to be mine, and I need it. I need to ascribe it to my soul. And that's not the point.
No.
That's not the point of this pursuit, is to figure out the label that you belong to. It's to write your own label.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be able to be vocalized. There was a funny thing. It was something like, and I didn't read the article, but I've read similar articles that say kind of the same thing. How the German language has a word for everything. Like every little funny emotion. And if you use Firefox as a web browser, there's a little thing on there called Pocket, and it gives you funny little articles sometimes. And one of the articles was definitions of words that you've never heard of. And it's weird little shit like it gives a label to the feeling that you have when you watch the ocean break on the shore under a full moon. There's a word for that.
It like breaks it down that specifically.
Yeah. That's what it defines itself as within that language. And I don't remember what language it was, and I might be wrong about the definition. But the pursuit doesn't need to be obtaining that word so you can put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
The pursuit needs to be perfecting the thing that looks at you. Every morning when you look in the fucking mirror. It needs to be that you get up and you hit it knowing the asshole that you were yesterday and trying not to be the asshole that you were yesterday today. And it doesn't have to be a whole lot different than that. It has to be just a little bit. So that each time you look at yourself in the mirror, you're a little bit more satisfied with that thing that's looking back at you and judging you. Because that's what they do. That motherfucker that you see every fucking morning in the mirror is picking you apart and judging all of the little pieces that you don't want to talk about at parties.
Yeah. I experienced that on Saturday.
Yeah, I know. I just got a little misty. That's where we're at.
I'm not crying.
That's where we're at. That's kind of how we want to go after this thing from this point forward.
Just back to being us.
And when I say the point forward, I think I kind of mean
forevermore.
Like right now. Like there's been switches flipped since we've been talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like they were back when this was pure before it became stupid.
Yeah. This isn't to make money. That's not what it is.
It's not even about that anymore.
I mean, if you choose to give us something great and wonderful and we love you, but
kitten, they already understand that because we've beat that horse. It's so far beyond.
I don't know that we've actually beat that horse, though.
Oh, we have.
I mean, we kind of said it, except that's still what we were trying to do.
You went on a rant in January about this.
Did I?
Yeah, and this is just kind of the continuation of the conversation.
Remember.
And
that was a long time ago.
And I'm right there. The epiphany that I had at the house party a month and a half ago now.
Oh my God, was it that long ago?
Yeah. Yeah, I still remember how she felt.
I still remember the tomato.
Tomatoes. They're growing rather nicely.
We made some babies.
Have we checked on them recently?
No, I am not, actually.
You're a terrible human.
I am terrible with this is why I don't keep plants.
You need to water.
Don't remind me.
You need to water our vegetables tomorrow, lady.
Yeah, I do actually need to water our vegetables.
Put that on your little list.
I don't have one right now.
Make a list.
I have papers. I haven't filled any of them out. That is a whole stress thing we're not going to talk about right now.
Roxy and Adina are the type of person that has 1,000 notebooks, and each one of them has a purpose.
Yeah.
So
I'm getting better. I'm consolidating.
Not to get off track, because that's what we do. We're back. We might be better, but that might be.
Well, I think we are. I don't know if this is, but we are certainly better.
What is that word that everybody says to me when I do something? And it's not precocious. It's not pernicious.
I don't know what.
Pretentious.
Pretentious?
Yeah. So we're not trying to approach this thing from a pretentious viewpoint.
Oh, no.
We know that we're flawed and broken. And,
Well, I mean, you might be.
and we're trying to be better. Right.
No, I'm seriously joking. I very much know.
But
if Saturday is any indication, I fucking know.
I think what we're trying to say is we want to do this
Our way.
And we want you to be along for the trip.
If you want to be.
And if you don't, good on you.
That's fine too.
You got all your shit figured out and live a happy life.
Like, and as far as what to expect from us,
maybe don't.
Maybe once a month.
Maybe once a week.
But maybe don't.
Maybe you might get one every other day, and then you might not hear from us from a second.
For a little bit.
And because life happens, and our life
is chaotic.
Doesn't, just like yours, right? It's madness and chaos and changing of schedules.
Oh, Jesus. And the last minute shit that happens. And
I mean, in the last...
it's just the last 2 weeks.
In the last 36 hours, my schedule has changed, I think, 6 times.
Yeah, it went from, okay, I'll be home at 11 to, okay, I might be home by noon to what time does he need me to be there?
I'm going to be in the shower as soon as I get home.
Maybe at 1 o'clock when he gets there.
You're still going to be prepping?
You have to get the casts on, right? Okay, that's going to be a little bit. We can make this happen.
I can promise you no later than 2 o'clock I'll be in the kitchen ready to go. And
still not trying to be a little perturbed about that.
And that's just today.
But that's how shit works.
And
we had a thing that was supposed to be theoretically done in 2-ish days and ended up taking 4. I mean, this is the reality of what we do, and I love what we do for the actual money. I do. It can be exhausting at times. But, you know,
yeah, we don't want to jade you on all the negative because there's not really as much as there used to be.
Sometimes real life takes precedence over the things that we love and enjoy in our...
That's just it. Sometimes we have to step back and go... And for a second, Sexy Jammies was not letting us do that.
No, the way we were doing it was not.
What we're going to promise to you, guarantee. Is there a difference between the two? Between a promise and a guarantee?
It's kind of the same, but guarantee is like that thing that shysters say. Promise is better.
I'm going to promise you and guarantee to you that we are going to be us.
No matter what.
And some of the things that we talk about might make you feel uncomfortable because of your interpretation and your life experience.
Some of them you might not like at all.
And that's okay. And I would challenge you, people that might still be listening to my rambling, that not only is that okay, but maybe that's something that you needed.
Sometimes the things that make you uncomfortable are the things that you need to hear.
I have some students that I have a book list that I recommend. And one of those books is really difficult.
Are you talking about the one that I read?
I don't know if you read it or not. I might have.
That was also difficult.
I might have let you read some of them. I don't remember. But I have a book list that I recommend to my students. And some of the anecdotes and the real world examples of what's going on in that book are really hard for some people to be able to read.
I know what you're talking about.
And to process.
I did not read that book.
They're real and they're visceral and they're maybe
violent.
But it's lessons that everybody needs to learn.
They're important.
And if you're serious about certain aspects of parts of your life, you have to kind of challenge yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe if we do this thing right, we might challenge you. if you have the balls to listen to us. And what I promise you is
that's not the right way to say that. The Constitution.
Whatever.
Because it's not about balls. It's about.
But what I'm trying to promise you is we're going to be ourselves.
Yes.
We're not necessarily going to pull punches, and we're not going to glaze over stuff. You're going to get us in the real and the raw and the amazing and the sexy.
And the not so amazing and the sometimes maybe shitty.
I kind of just said that. But you're going to get all the stuff, right? And
I keep saying we need to have all of our arguments on videotape.
Well, that's the other thing is we are also going to, as soon as I can manage to figure out where to put the camera, we're going to start recording it, video. And it might be shitty. It might look like crap. And you
understand he's dying inside.
You might be looking at her cluttered desk and
my God, it's such a fucking mess right now.
And my amazing little setup that I have here and going, whoa, what the fuck? But that's us. And that was our day.
Yeah.
And that was our week. And sorry, but not.
Yeah. I could clean the desk up, but it's just going to happen again tomorrow.
Yeah. Suck it up. Suck it up and enjoy what we're saying and doing and such, because we might do stuff on camera too.
That wouldn't be on YouTube though.
Right.
They would frown upon that.
We fucking miss you.
We miss each other.
We miss having this conduit.
Yeah.
We miss being able to do this with each other and learn and grow and evolve from the things that we learn by talking to each other while you people sit there and listen to us and giggle and laugh and cry with us.
Yeah.
So sexy jammies doesn't necessarily mean all the time that it's sexy.
Oh God, no. Sometimes those sexy jammies are covered in blood because you just murdered someone.
If you remember the way...
Or covered in ice cream because you're having that day and it just melted as you ate the entire tub of ice cream. That's also a thing that's happened.
The Caesar dressing dribbling down your chin.
Hey, that was because I had 2 arms and casts and I couldn't do anything myself. That's why that happened.
So you're just going to get it.
That would make me anxious. I don't know why, but it did.
You're just going to get it. You're going to get it in the raw. You're going to get it in the unfiltered. I'm not going to edit for content anymore.
You need to bring your own lube. And if you forgot it, well, that's on you.
Yeah, you're going to have to lick it before you stick it. So that's the no bones, man.
As far as what to expect from us in the future, nothing. Don't expect anything from us. We were going to do our best because we want to be doing this. But, we're going to take the swinger route that we normally take, and there's 0 expectations here.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
That's how we try, not successfully always, to go into every swinger situation. 0 expectations. Expect nothing from us, and we'll expect nothing from you. We will all be happier for it because the only way left is up.
I would argue that we now are to the point where we kind of approach every situation like that.
Yeah.
With I wouldn't 0 expectations.
I wouldn't disagree. I think that we could improve on that with our children because we don't go into that with 0 expectations. We go into that with very defined expectations, and they always let us down.
Well, basically, children all need beaten.
I'd say right. With a stick.
In a gentle enough way to not break their spirit, but in a hard enough way to make them into good humans.
We haven't figured out that balance.
Not to get off track as we do. 0
expectations.
The overall theme is we're back. We're gonna do better. We're gonna keep giving
Depending on your definition of better.
I know.
We're going to do our better.
We're going to do our better. We don't care what they think. They're here for entertainment.
We're going to try to do that as best we can.
And sometimes the entertainment is going to be like the movie that you cry on. Sometimes it's going to be like the book that makes you go, oh my God, I have to set it down.
Did they really write that down? Yep.
And
Yeah,
sometimes you're going to need to go into another room and have a number 3. And all of those are fine.
4.
A number 4. What's a number 4?
From home. They take the day off. Or is it a number 3? It's a number 3. It is a number 3.
I know what a number 1 is. Everybody knows what a number 2 is. I think a number 3. I think it's 3.
Is a 3 the one that they talk about in the chat group that I always go, what is a number 3? Is that what that is? Okay. So then technically they were wrong because that's dirty in a kid's movie. So we're just going to call it a number 4 instead of a number 3. And the booth take the day off.
Wow.
You don't remember that from that movie?
Did you just cite like a kid's movie?
I did. It's home.
In our
an
sex
amazing
podcast?
Movie. Can I come into the out now? That's what happens when our child goes, what's wrong with your face? What she means is, what is the purpose of your face? Because he says that. And she goes, what's wrong with your face?
I'm pretty sure, but I'm trending on coming in the out about once a month.
Right? Can I come into the out now?
I meant a different thing with that.
I know what you meant.
So
I sort of meant that too.
I think that's it. Do you have anything else that you need?
No, we talked a little bit. Well, okay. So the only thing I wrote down was the sexy jammies, the final evolution. Probably. Maybe. For now.
Did you write all of that down? Because that's probably the title of this.
I did write that down. That's where we're at.
Maybe, probably. All those
for
words.
For now.
Okay.
Probably, maybe.
Because our best ideas happen when we don't have anything to take notes with.
Yeah, they do. And we need to get better somehow about like having just paper with us.
We're going to constantly record everything that we say.
Okay. I'm not necessarily opposed to that because we have some really interesting conversations sometimes. We certainly have some fantasy stuff to talk about later that I'm having happen in my brain.
So going forward, we're going to backtrack through the last 6 months or so as best as we can.
Well, yes and no.
And it's
the best stories. We'll do like a best stories kind. We don't have that much actually. We've been so fucking busy. We don't really have much.
And it's kind of going to be highlights and it's going to be like poignant stuff and shit that we learned from. Some good, some hot,
some
not.
Still good, but more
from a
difficult.
Yeah, from a psychological kind of standpoint. From
easy digestible to not as easy digestible.
Yeah. And
but we'll go through all of it.
And we're gonna hit it hard, and we're gonna go at you like full face fucking, full go.
And eventually, at some point, there will be a new intro when we have had time to write it.
We might go ahead and do that this week.
I don't know. The current one is good.
It is good.
It's not amazing, but it's good enough to last until we figure out a new one. We're not making promises as to when it's going to happen.
I think maybe it should accompany this episode.
I would love it to, but
it doesn't take much. All I need to do is change the script. It does take much.
Who's the one that writes it?
All I need to do is re-record it with the proper name.
Okay, who write? But that's not the whole of it. We've been trying to rewrite that intro for months.
Anyway, not to get bogged down.
That's exactly the point of what we're not going to do.
Not to get bogged down.
Yeah.
I love you. Good night.
I love you.
You're so fucking amazing. You know that I can't do any of this without you.
You can't do anything.
Kitten, I'm done. I'm spent.
Me too. I love you so.
I love you too.